Hi, this is Gilgamesh. I want to talk about this movie because it was here in Portland for a limited run. It's not here anymore. If you want to go and see, you have to go to Salem. It's In a Violent Nature. It's a wonderful slasher film. And this is the cast. They don't have the picture of this guy. But this is Brian Barrett played Johnny. He's the killer in the movie. He's a vengeful spirit who's after an item. The item is his mother's locket was stolen from his grave. And we see this at the beginning of the movie. It opens and you hear three guys talking, and it's Ethan, it's Troy, and it's Cole. And they're talking, and they're talking about this firehouse, which is basically what a ranger uses to, when they're out there. It's a ranger station, you climb up these stairs to get to where the ranger would stay when they call that a firehouse. And they talk about, they see this necklace, gold necklace. One of them takes it. So firehouse, which is basically, and then we hear this as they leave. We hear it's a ranger station, and as then you see the pole where the necklace was fall over, and then we slowly call that a firehouse. This person coming out of the ground. They see this, and the way they filmed it, it's in 4:3, I think it is, where it's like this instead of in whites. We hear the letterbox. It's on the side, so it's boxed in, which is I actually like that about this film is the way it was filmed, the cinematography. The fact that there seemed to be a lot of natural light in the movie and not a lot of... The way they filmed it, it's in, can't light, extra lighting like this instead of in white. And there was no score. And the reason for this is the director boxed in. Wasn't sure if he was going to... Chris Nash said that he wasn't sure the tone of the movie, so that's why he didn't put a score. And I think it actually works in the movie. I know other people probably went, they wanted a extra lighting, a score in the movie, and there was no score. Who did the? And the reason for this is the director, Friday the 13th fan films that are on YouTube. He talked about this and said that was one of the issues he had with the movie is the fact that that's why he didn't put a score. But I understand it. I know other people. The movie was like I think $5,000 it cost to make this movie. Everybody's fantastic. Everybody plays their character really well. I mean, especially her right here, Aurora. This Charlotte, she plays this Aurora. But I understand it. The movie was like a bitch in the movie. She's I think they're all in their 20s. I think they're supposed to be Zoomers really well. And one point, especially her right here, Aurora. I'll go back. The first kill in the movie is. We find out later his name is Johnny. And essentially, he wakes up because he goes starting to walk through the woods. And this movie has what I think is great about it is the pacing. Zoomers. And never felt, I didn't feel personally that it was taking too long to get there. The walk-in wasn't fun to show time passing. I always get bugged in a lot of, even Friday the 13th where they do this whole, it's daylight, then it's suddenly night. Here, in this movie, it has what I think is actually time flows, and you follow the killer. You never see his face. I didn't feel personally. Actually, I think that's a good thing. And there's points where he's out of focus. Like I said, we follow him a lot of and he's walking out of the woods and he sees this dead animal. It looks like a fox. It's caught in a trap and it's dead. He kicks it a little, looks at it, then he keeps walking. Then we hear it's supposed to be the ranger. That's a good thing. And this one guy. He's out of focus. I think his name's Bill or something. And we follow him. And he's walking out of the woods, and I'm not sure. He sees this, but he's this dead man, and they're arguing over him being in the woods. And then he keeps walking. Then eventually, the ranger leaves, and so Johnny basically goes in the house. That's his name is Johnny. We find out much later a story of his backstory. Might be Chuck. Oh, just to let you know, this hood right here that he wears does kind of at first look a little bit goofy, but it builds on you over time as the movie progresses once he puts it on. So Johnny basically goes in the house,
and so he walks.
he walks in,
much later,
and then he stops and he sees this.
Oh, just
necklace.
let you know,
we
this
see
hood
his
right here that
father
he wears
through the mirror tell him
does
to
kind of
hold on to
first
this.
look a
This
little
was
bit
what's
goofy,
all he has
but
of his
it
mother. Never let it go.
builds on you over time.
So
as the movie
he's about to
progresses
go
once he
grab
puts
it,
on.
and then suddenly, he hits
And so he
knocks a bottle over. The
walks
guy
in,
who owns the house comes in
and then
and
he
thinks it's the
stops
ranger, and he
sees
shoots his
necklace.
So
And we
Johnny
see his
turns and goes
father
after
talk
him.
through
He
the
sees
mirror
him
to
and he
hold
runs
on
like
to this.
crazy
This was
running.
all he has of his mother.
And then he
Never
catches.
let go.
He's caught in his own
So
bear
he's
trap.
about to
and so
go grab
he goes,
it,
"What did I
and
do?"
so
And we don't
he,
see him kill him. We
hits
only
a
see
bump.
his hand go towards him, and then
Knocks a bottle
afterwards
over, the guy
grabs the
who owns the
necklace.
house
There's
comes in
blood
and
on his
thinks
hand.
Ranger,
And he stands there,
shoots it.
and he goes,
Johnny
looks at
turns
it.
and goes
I
after
couldn't
him.
read
He
what was on the
sees him,
back.
he runs like crazy,
He realizes this is not his mother's, and it's kind of like,
and then he
oh,
catches.
fuck.
He's caught in his
And he
own
drops it.
bear trap.
So then,
So
as he's walking out, he sees young
we don't see
people,
him kill him.
and
We see
he walks
his hand go towards him.
He
and then
starts
afterwards
following them. And
grabs
then
the
nighttime
necklace,
comes.
there's
Like I
blood on
said,
his hand.
a lot of walking.
And he stands there.
So he comes
goes,
upon where
looks
all
at
these
it.
young people that I
couldn't
think they're
read
all
what
in
was
their
on the back.
20s. They might be a little older.
He
but
realizes this is
they're
not
definitely
his
not
mother's.
teenagers.
It's kind of like,
Like,
oh, fuck. And he drops
yeah,
it.
and clearly
So
they're all
then as he's
adults.
walking out, he sees young
And
people.
he
And
stands
he
off
walks
in the back
He starts following them, and then
and
nighttime
watches them.
comes.
And one of them
walk in.
starts telling the
So
story
he
about
comes upon
Johnny.
where all these young people
And
that I think
he goes,
they're all
"Oh,
in their
it's a
20s.
word you
They
want
might
to
be a
say."
little
And
older,
he goes,
they're definitely not.
and that's when Aurora. That's her right
And
here.
clearly they're all adults.
And
okay.
Chris
He
here
stands
tells him,
off
"Don't
in the
say it."
back.
She's filming, talking about Aurora, and then he goes,
and watches them.
"That
And
cancel
and one of
culture.
them
You're trying to
starts
cancel me." And she
telling
goes,
the story
"Cancel
about
culture
Johnny.
doesn't exist, you misogynist.
He goes,
I'm
"Oh,
like,
it's
kill
a
this
word
bitch."
you wanna say."
And so he wants to say retard
And that's
because Johnny in the
Aurora.
movie is
That's
supposed to be
her
retarded.
right here.
And essentially,
Chris here tells him, "Don't say
what
it."
happens
She's
is that
filming, talking about Aurora.
his father
And then he
runs
goes,
all the businesses and
"That
all these
cancel culture, you're trying to
loggers,
cancel
you know,
me."
all
She goes,
the
"Cancel culture
basically
doesn't exist,
the
you
loggers want to
misogynist."
develop the area. His
Kill
father
this
runs
bitch.
the stores and
And
basically
so
is
he wants to say
know,
retard,
as he
because Johnny
says,
in the movie
is
supposed to be
gouging
retarded.
these people.
And
That's capitalism, by the way.
essentially,
And so one day, one of the loggers
what happens
gets
is
injured
that,
on one of Johnny's toys.
his father runs
so
all the
they
businesses,
trick
and all
him into
these
thinking that they have a
loggers,
box toy at
you know,
the
all
fire
the-
at the top of the
basically,
firehouse. He
the
goes
loggers
up
want
there.
to
One of
develop
them
the area.
is
His
there's no
father
toys.
runs
One
the
of them
stores and basically
waiting with the
is,
mask on. Johnny
you know,
falls,
as he says,
hits the ground, breaking his neck,
is
killing him.
gouging these people.
But instead of telling
That's
them what
capitalism,
really
by the way.
happened, they proceed
And
to
so,
cover it up.
one day, one
his
of the
father
loggers
knows
gets injured
that these
on
guys
one of
killed
Johnny's
him,
toys,
and about a
trick
year
him into
later or
thinking
so,
that
I
they have a
think,
box
something
toy
like
at
that,
fire at the top of the
that
firehouse.
all
He
these
goes up there, one of
guys
them,
were killed.
there's no toys,
And so-
one of them's waiting with the mask
Yeah.
on. Johnny falls.
So that
hits the ground,
builds
breaks his
up
neck,
the
killed him.
what
But
happened.
instead of telling
So
them
now
what
he's
really
watching
happened,
them, and
they
one of
proceed
them
to
is
cover it
holding
up.
the locket.
His
so
father
he
knows that these
and
guys
I'm going to tell
killed
you,
him.
besides the first
And
one
about
and the
a
third
year
kill,
later or so,
which
I think,
is
something like that, that all
which is
these
her getting,
guys
and
were
I'll
killed.
just say,
and
not
so-
giving away the ending, but she gets drowned, and we just
So
see
that-
her pulled under
that
the water,
builds up the-
and that's
what
fine.
happened.
You don't have to see every
So
kill.
now
be
he's
gory.
watching
The best
them,
kill in the
and one
movie
of them
is
is
hers.
in the
Hers
locket.
is like the best goddamn.
And I'm
going
going to tell you, besides the
it's
first
funny.
one and the third kill, which is
So what happens? He kills.
which
I'm trying to
is
remember
her
which one does
getting-
he kill
and I'll
off
just say
first?
Not
Might
giving
be
away the ending, but she gets
Yeah,
drowned, and we
it's one
just
of
see her
these
pulled
two
under
gets
the
killed
water,
off, and he does it
and
with a
that's
hacksaw
fine. You don't
through
have
his
to
mouth.
see every
So
kill
we don't
be
actually
gory.
see him cut the
Best
sever
kill
the
in
head.
the
We
movie
see
is hers.
afterwards
Hers
when
is
the top
like
of the head falls
the
off.
best goddamn
He
kill you could get.
drags the body
Funny.
back to the forest ranger.
So what
and
happens? is he
ranger
kills-
station, and he throws the body
remember
into
which one does he
this
kill
wall
off
that
first.
has these
It might be
this hood that
Yeah,
that
it's
is
one of
this
these
hood
two
in,
gets
in,
killed off,
in
and
here.
he does it with a
I'll show you the
hacksaw.
trailer in a minute through his mouth.
So we don't actually see him cut the sever
Yeah,
the head.
this
We see
hood
afterwards
and
when the top
those
of the head
hood.
falls
There's
off.
two of them
He
with the chain,
drags
and
the
then
body back to
this
the forest ranger
hatchet. It's an old
and
style
a ranger
hatchet.
station, and he throws the
So
body
he
into-
puts on the
into
hood
this
and he
wall
wears
that
this for
has
the rest of
this-
the movie till
this
one
hood
scene where
that is this hood and,
yeah, and then he starts
here.
walking.
I'll show the trailer.
And
in a
it's
minute.
at night, so he walks out. He's got the head. The
Yeah.
mask does
This
look.
hood
The hood
and
does
the-
look a little
those hoods-
goofy
there's hood-
at
two of them
first,
with the
but it
chain.
builds. It actually
then this
you
hatchet. It's an old.
are not
style
bothered by
hatchet.
it as the movie goes on.
So he puts on the hood and he wears this for the rest of the movie.
Then you go
until
from
one
night and
scene
he's
where-
walking, a lot of walking, you
and
hear
then he
the
starts
nature,
walking.
so And
There,
it's
like
at
I
night.
said, there's
So
a
he
score.
walks out.
He's got the head. The mask.
Then
does
he
look-
hears
the hood
the
does look a little
hears
goofy at first, but
Brody
it
and
actually
Aurora
will-
talking. And he goes in,
I'm not bothered
there's
by it as
a
the
lake
movie
right
goes
there,
on.
and he sees them on this pier, and they're talking. And basically,
Middle of the night,
Brody
he's
wants to go
walking,
swimming, or
Aurora
Aurora wants to
walking
do
into the
yoga.
nature, so
And basically, it's obvious
like I
they're
said,
supposed to be hanging out
score.
there, kind of in it,
Then he
wanting to
hears
sleep with
the-
each other.
here's
Nobody
Brody
cares, but
and Aurora
yeah.
talking.
So
And he
basically,
goes
Brody,
into it's-
Aurora
it's a lake
drops
right there,
Brody's
and he
clothes
sees
in
him
the
on this
water,
pier, and
and
they're talking.
basically goes off to do her
And
yoga.
basically, Brody wants to go
And
swimming with her, Aurora
basically,
wants to do
Johnny
yoga.
walks into
And
the
basically, it's
water
obvious they're
underneath.
supposed
We
to
don't
be
see
hanging
him.
out there.
And then
kind of
suddenly we see in the
wanting to
distance,
sleep
she's
with
going,
each other.
Brody's screaming, help me, help
Nobody
me. And then
cares.
suddenly she's
So basically, Brody
drowned.
Aurora
Body comes up,
drops
and then we
Brody's
see
clothes
Johnny
in the
walk
water
out,
and
he's wet.
basically goes off to do.
So
her
this
yoga.
is where the first really
And
gory
basically,
kill of the movie.
Johnny
I'm not giving the ending away.
walks
The ending's
into the water.
fantastic. I'll get to
we
that.
don't see him. And then
But
suddenly we see in the
the
distance
first
she's
kill,
going,
I mean,
Brody's
first
screaming,
gory
"Help me,
kill
help
is
me,"
the.
and then suddenly
We've had the old man, we've had one of the guys,
Body
we've
comes
had,
up,
yeah,
and
the
then
fourth kill in this
Johnny
movie
walks
is
out,
Aurora.
he's
She's
wet.
doing her yoga, and then
So
Johnny
this
comes
is where
walking
the
up on
first
her and
really
hits a twig, steps on a twig, and she
I'm
goes,
not giving the
so you
ending.
finally
The
came
ending's
up here, and she
fantastic.
turns
I'll
around
get
and
to
sees
that.
him. This is how stupid Aurora is. And this is
first
one of the tropes of
first
the things about idiots in slasher films, because this is
the
a
old man,
slasher
we've
film.
had one of the guys,
Is they make dumb decisions. Instead of Aurora have she's playing where she could try to run away, she runs towards where the cliff and then stops.
So you
and
finally came up here. And
she's
turned
like,
around and sees him.
stands
How
there
stupid
for the
Aurora
longest
is.
time, and then suddenly the killer
one of the tropes of the things
jams
about
his
idiots
hand
in
and
slasher
this
films, 'cause
hook
this is a
through her
slasher film.
back.
Is they make
Yeah, this
dumb
thing
decisions.
through her back,
Instead of
and
Aurora
then turns her,
having
and the
played
blood
where
is
she
like
could
come down,
try
then
to
turns
run
her
away,
around,
she
the
runs
hooks through
towards
her,
where
and
the
then
cliff,
proceed
and
to
then
take this
stops.
hook and put it in her head.
She's like,
And then
stands
turn around and he
for
starts
the
pulling the
longest
chain.
time, and
This has
suddenly the killer
made everyone in the theater fucking laugh. Cause it
jams
so,
his hand and this hook.
Oh, I love this kill because bitch had it coming.
this thing through her back. and
He's
then
pulling the
turns her,
chain
and
in
the
her
blood-
head
the blood come down, then
and
turns
gets
her
ripped
around,
off
the
and
hooks
pulled through her cavity.
and then
yes,
proceeds
this
to
is funny
fucking
as shit.
put
It's
it in
so
her head.
perfectly
And then turn
like
around and
over the
starts
top
pulling the
that
chain.
it's
This is
funny.
made
I think
everyone
that
in
was
the
the
theater
point, that it was
fucking
meant to be
so-
funny. And so she
I
falls
love
down,
this
he
kill.
kicks her head and her body
Bitch had it
down,
coming.
and I think her head goes in the water,
He's
but her
pulling
body
the
still
chain in
stays
her
up
head.
there.
And
Then he
gets ripped
proceeds
off
to
and pulled
some
through
more
her
walking.
cavity. Yes, this is funny
And-
as shit. It's so
Yeah. So there's more
perfectly,
walking.
like,
There's a
over
lot
the
of walk
top
in this
that
movie.
it's
I
funny.
like it because
I
it
think
shows
that was
time.
the point. That it was
Passing.
meant to be funny.
Then
And
here's
so she falls
four,
down, he kicks her
you know,
head and her body down.
the
and
four
I
of
think
them,
her head goes in the
Troy,
water, but her body still
Chris,
stays up there.
I think
Then he
Aaron,
proceeds to some more
Um,
walk in.
and there's another friend, I forget his name.
So there's more walk in.
sure
There's a lot
he's-
of walk in.
It's
This movie.
it
I
might
like it
be
'cause it shows
because one of them they say
passing.
killed himself, or
Then
maybe they found the
here's
body.
the
of,
four-
Wait, no, they didn't
you
because
know,
he was at the forest ranger.
The four of them.
I know there's
Troy,
another guy in
Chris,
this, and I think it was a friend that
Aaron,
Chris brought, but he's apparently got some
And there's
issues, and I
another
think
forget
they're
his
going
name.
to get help
not
because
sure
I guess
he's-
he's
it
dead.
might be.
We don't know
Because
if
one
he
of them
killed
they
himself,
say
whatever. But
killed
there's
himself.
two
One
guys.
they found.
They
the
stay
body
behind.
Of, wait, no,
and-
because he was at the forest.
Well,
ranger.
one of them throws
I
keys.
know
It might
there's
have been
another guy
Troy.
in this,
And so
it was a
Johnny
friend that
picks him
Chris
up
brought,
and he
but
sees
he's
the car.
apparently got some.
It's important, so he
cheaper,
goes and
you know,
sits down. He takes the
issues,
hood
and
off.
I think they're
and he
going
starts
to
playing
get
with the
help
car.
because I guess
Okay, this is how we know
he's
this
dead.
isn't Johnny from
We
the
don't know
story
if he
early
killed
in
himself,
at the
whatever,
beginning
but
of the movie
there's
about
two guys.
the retarded
They
kid.
stay behind.
So he's
and
playing with it, takes the hood off,
Well,
puts
one
it
of them
down,
throws
he's
keys,
playing
it
with
might
it,
have been
and then we
Troy.
see his face. And
So
this is
Johnny
when you realize
picks him up
he's
and
actually
sees the car.
dead. Because,
It's
you know,
important,
he's
so he
missing
goes and
skin
sits
around
down,
his
he takes
face.
the hood off,
The
and he
these
starts playing with the
practical
car.
effects in the movie are
This is how we know
beautiful.
this is
They're-
from Johnny
This is
from
a
the
total
story
practical
early
effects
at
film.
the beginning of the movie about
And the
retarded
prosthetics
kid.
they use to make Johnny look like a
So he
corpse
takes the hood
are
off,
really
puts it
outstanding.
down,
I mean,
he's playing
he's
with
got
it,
a scar on
and
his
we see his
shoulder.
face.
He looks
This
like
one you
at
realize
points they
he's
do a
actually
close-up of
dead.
his abdomen. You can tell he's a
He's
big
missing
guy.
skin around his face.
And
they-
give to Ryan Barrett
practical
because
effects in
not
the
being able to
movie
say
are
one word is hard.
This
to
is
do
a total
in a movie
practical
for
effects
most
film.
people playing killers.
and
But he sits there and
the
plays
prosecutor
with
said
it, and then
he's
he hears
trying
them,
to look like a
and
corpse
to
are really
Chris,
outstanding. I mean, I'm not
these
sure if
guys,
it's
her
her boyfriend
boyfriend Troy
he
or
looks
somebody
like
else.
at points they do
But they're gonna
close-up
go
of
in
his
because
abdomen,
one
you
of them
can tell he's a big
is
guy.
dead, and so he
And
goes like this and
Give
crushes
Dwayne
it. Then gets up, puts the hood back on,
word is hard to do.
and then he gets up, and the other two have left, Kristen,
But he
her
sits there and plays
boyfriend,
with it, and then he hears
or this
that-
other guy, they leave. And so
Chris-
there's two of them there,
I'm not
and
sure if it's
he
her
goes around
boyfriend, Troy,
and
or
takes a
somebody
piece of
else.
wood and
But
puts
they're
it in
gonna
to
go
cause
in
the
because
alarm to
one of them
the
killed
horn to go
dead,
off.
and so
So he
he
then
goes like this and crushes
walks
it,
around,
then gets
so
up,
that when the guy
puts
comes
the
back
hood
and
back
gets it, goes, "What the hell's going?" You know,
and then
screaming
gets
at.
up, and the
He
other
comes
two
up with the
left,
hatchet.
Kristen, her
And,
boyfriend.
oh yeah, he dropped the hatchet.
This other guy,
One of the
they
guys
leave,
picked it up,
and
put
so
it in
there's
the.
two of them
So he
there,
he
and
sees
he
that.
goes
He walks around, grabs it,
takes a piece
and
of
then
wood
hits the
and
guy in the
puts it
leg.
in to cause the alarm.
He falls
to
down. He can't walk anymore.
horn to go off.
He's
So he then
bleeding. His other friend
walks around,
shoots Johnny.
so that when
Johnny
the guy
falls
comes
down.
back to
So he
get
goes
him,
over
what the hell's
to
going
put a
on?
tourniquet,
Screaming at
and then
He comes up
as they're trying to get away.
and
Oh yeah, he
dropped
dropped
the
the
hatchet.
Johnny gets
One
up,
of the guys
gets the
picked it
hatchet,
up,
throws
put
it.
it in the-
So he sees that. He
Somebody
walks
who
around,
loves horror
grabs
movies,
it,
I know right away,
and then
one of them
hits
got
the guy
hit
in
in
the
the
back of the head. The guy
He
not
falls
cut
down.
by
I can't
the
walk
eyes.
anymore. It's
Bleeding. So we get
His
the
other
top
friend
shoots, and we see Johnny walking
falls
towards,
down.
and the guy,
So he goes
the other
over
guy screaming
to put a tourniquet,
"Help me!"
and then
help.
as they're trying to get away. What I love is Johnny gets
Typical
up,
idiots in horror
throws
movies
it.
to always scream for help.
Somebody who
So
loves
he-
horror movies, I know right away. One of
You
them
see
got
the-
hit in the back of the head.
The
The
guy
guy not cut
the
it.
hatchet's in the guy's head.
So we get
and
the
he's
top
dead.
to you. And we see
And
Johnny
so he
walking
walks towards him,
the guy,
and instead of grabbing the hatchet,
screaming,
he grabs a rock and then drops on the guy's head, crushing the shit out of it. So the other two come
Typical
back,
idiots in
they're
horror
looking,
movies
and then
always
suddenly
scream for help.
Johnny sees
So,
Chris has his
You
mother's
see
necklace.
Yeah.
The
and
hatchet's in the
he-
guy's head. And then all of a sudden the other guy
And he
sees
And so he
and
walks
goes,
towards
"Watch
him,
out,
and
Chris!"
instead of
And she
grabbing the hatchet, he
moves out of the way,
grabs rock,
and
and
Johnny
then-
throws the hatchet.
and drops on the guy's head, crushing
And
the shit out of it.
I
So
love.
the
I
other
said
two
I
come
love
back,
this fucking
they're
movie.
looking,
And then
and
he
then
starts.
suddenly
And then
Johnny sees
and then
Chris has
as he's
the-
following,
his
they get
mother's
away.
necklace.
So he grabs the hatchet, pulls down the
and
guy's head.
and then all of
Beautiful
a sudden, the
sound
other
as
guy
he's pulling the
sees-
hatchet out.
sees
And he starts
goes,
going
"Watch
after
out,
him slowly.
Chris,"
He's
and she
walking. So
moves out of the
by
way
the
as
time
Johnny
we
throws the hatchet.
see them again, it's nighttime. And the only
And
light night, like I said, I think
said,
they
I
use
love
natural
this
light because
movie.
it
And
does
then
cost
he
a lot
starts
to
and
do
then
to use
as
artificial
he's
lighting.
following, they get
And so,
away.
and this was a small budget
grabs the
film, by the
hatchet,
way.
pulls out the guy's head.
It's already made twice. It
Beautiful
made so
sound
much
as he's
money
pulling the hatchet out.
just being in theaters
And he
for a
starts
short
going
time.
after him slowly.
It will be on
He's
Shudder
walking. So
later.
by the time
At some point
see
later,
them again,
and
it's
EMC Plus, so
And the
you'll be able
only
to see
light
it.
night- Like I said, I think they
If
use
you missed it
natural
in
light 'cause
theaters.
it does cost a lot to use
Just yeah,
to use
and so
artificial lighting.
when we
And
when we hear
so-
them,
and this was a small
Chris
budget
and
film.
her, I think it's her boyfriend, yeah,
It's already made
are
twice.
talking
They made so
to
much
the
money
ranger,
just
and
being
he
in
goes,
theaters for a
"What-
short time.
What did you
It will
do?
be on
What did-
Shudder later.
what- How did you? What did you get?"
Some
He's
time
asking about the
later,
locket.
and EMC Plus,
you
so
know,
you'll
that
be able to see
goes,
it.
Did you?
If you missed
And
it,
he asks, and the guy goes, "We
Just-
took it off the."
yeah. And so
He goes, "Oh my God, you
when we
woke
come-
him up."
when we hear them,
and she goes,
Chris
and
and
she
her-
asked
I
the,
think it's her
Chris asked the
boyfriend,
smartest question.
are talking
What about if we
to
just
the
give it back to him? Won't he
and
just
he
go
goes,
back?
What did
That
you do?
actually
What
becomes
did-
important
how
later
did you-
on.
What did you get? He's asking about the locket. You know that.
And the ranger being an total
And he asks
a-hole
him,
said, "No, no,
the guy
no.
goes, we
You
took it off the.
There's only
Oh
one
my
way
God,
to put him
he
back.
woke
We have
him
to
up."
bury him back
And
where
she
we have
goes-
to
and
put
she
him back
asked
in the
him-
ground
Chris
where
asked the
he
smartest
was
question.
buried, like
What
his
about if
father
we
did
just give it back
10
to him?
years
Won't
ago.
he just go back?
And so
That actually
Johnny
becomes
comes.
important
He's
later on.
not a. He like I said, he's a corpse. He walks towards.
And the ranger being in total
and he gets shot by
a-hole
the
said,
by
"No,
the
no,
ranger.
no.
So he's lying there, and then the ranger
There's
says,
only
"Get
one
some
way to
chains."
put him
The
back.
guy,
We have to bury him back.
I
where
think it
we
might
have
be
to put him
Troy,
back in the ground where
is
he was buried. Like his
he
father
tells him now chain him
10
up. He
years
doesn't
ago.
want to do that, so as
And
he's saying, "I'm going to hand
so
you." He
Johnny
said, "Put the
comes,
chains
he's
down." Then goes to
not-
hand him the
he-
rifle.
Like I said, he's a corpse.
Johnny comes
Walks
to.
towards-
Basically, they struggle. Him and the ranger.
and he gets shot by the
rifle
by the
hits
ranger.
the
So
RV.
he's lying
I
there,
mean,
and the
the
ranger said,
all-terrain
"Get some
vehicle.
chains." The guy,
I think it
I
don't think it blew
Troy
up.
is he tells
But
him,
then,
now
of
chain him up.
course,
he
he
doesn't want to do
not.
that. So
He
as
gets
he's
he
saying, "I'm gonna
crushes
hand you-"
the
he said,
sheriff,
"Put
the
chains
ranger's
down."
hand, and the
Goes
other
to
two
hand him the rifle.
basically are like, get them.
Johnny
They
comes
get the
to,
gas and they
basically
get
they start vehicle,
bear
him
trap,
and the
and they
ranger.
get the fuck out of
Rifle
there.
hits the
So,
RV,
and basically
I mean,
he
the
breaks the
all-terrain vehicle.
ranger's back.
I think
So
it,
also,
I
so
don't
he
think it
can't
blew
feel
up.
anything. He literally severs his ability to feel anything, but,
But
he's
then,
fully
of course,
awake.
he
So what he does
gets
is he
it,
uses a
crushes
hook
the
rat,
shirt,
and we
the
see him
ranger's
walk
hand, and
into
the other two basically like
shit.
they get the
Turn
gas
something
and
on
get
here,
the
gas powered
bear
thing
trap
start up,
and
generator.
get
something's turned
So
off.
it-
So
and
then he
basically
goes
he
and
breaks
takes the
the
hook is
the
into him.
range
That's how
back.
you know he isn't
So
feeling
also,
anything.
so he
And
can't
drags
feel
the sheriff,
anything. Literally
I mean the
silences
ranger,
his ability
to
feel
the shed.
anything when
And
he's
what
fully
turns
awake.
out this is,
So what he does is he uses a hook
is
and
called
he's
a
gonna walk
log
into
splitter. What it
the shed.
does
Turn
is
something on
most
here,
people when they,
gas
if you live in the
powered
woods
generator.
or you burn wood
Something's
for your
turned
fuel,
on.
you'll
So
get
then he goes
usually
and takes
round
the hook,
logs
puts it into him.
from
That's how you know he isn't feeling
log.
anything.
You know
He
they'll
drags
send
the
you
sheriff,
sell you.
I mean the
you
ranger,
know,
to the
logs.
shed.
Sometimes
And what turns out
round
this
whole
is-
logs. And so what a log splitter does
called
is split it
a
in
log
two, so that
splitter.
then you can cut
What
that
it
with
does
an axe. Cut it
Most
into
people,
four
when they-
parts.
if you live in the woods,
So that's
you
what the log
burn
splitter
wood
does. So
for your
he
fuel, you'll
shows
get usually
what the
round
log, showing the ranger
from
what the log splitter
logs,
does,
you
showing
know,
the
they'll
audience.
send you-
This is
sell you,
what somebody,
you know,
I watched the guy who
logs.
did the,
Sometimes
Jason, he
round
talked
whole
about
logs.
this in his
And so
review,
what a
that
log
he thought
splitter
this
does
was
is
the
split it in
point in the
two,
movie
so then you
where
can
it slowed
cut
the
that
movie
with
down.
an
I didn't think so.
and
I actually
cut it
thought
into
this
four
was
parts.
to
So
show
that's
that
what
he
the log
wanted to
splitter
make sure
does.
this guy
So
was
he
dead,
shows
that he couldn't
what the
stop
log,
it.
showing the ranger what the log splitter does.
So he puts
showing
his
the audience.
wrist,
This is
his
the-
arm,
what
up there, and he
I
uses the
watched
wood
guy who
splitter to
did
basically
the-
cut his
Jason,
hand
he
off.
talked about this in his
Then I'm
review,
thinking,
that
I thought he
thought
was
this
going to put the
the
guy
point of the movie
on there and let it go
slowed the
through him,
movie
but
down.
no.
I didn't
Then
think so. I actually thought
this
was
is this
to show
yeah,
that he wanted
puts
to make
his
sure this guy
neck
was
where his
dead.
neck is,
That he
and he
couldn't
can't
stop
move, and
it.
you see his eyes moving as he turns it on. You see the
So
guy,
he puts
his
wrist,
eyes
his
move,
arm
so he's still
up
awake,
there,
even though
and
he's
he uses
losing
the
a
wood
lot of
splitter
blood
to
from where his
basically
hand
cut his hand
was
off.
taken off, and then the thing,
Then I'm
log
thinking, I
splitter
thought he was going
works
to put
its
the
way,
guy on
gets a
there
little
and let it
stuck,
go
and then
through, but
eventually
no,
lobs his
then
head off. So
this
then
is the-
Johnny
this-
leaves.
Yeah.
And he
puts
goes
his
after the other
neck
two.
where
And then
his neck is, and he can't move,
stupidly,
and you see his eyes moving as
her
he
boyfriend,
turns it
Chris's
on. You see the
boyfriend,
guy-
decides
his eyes move.
to
So he's still awake, even though he's
antagonize
losing a lot of
Johnny
blood from where his hand was
by
was
saying,
taken
"We're out
off."
here,
And
come
then the
get
thing,
us."
Log splitter,
And he gets
works
out
his way
there,
up,
and he's
gets
walking,
a
then he
little stuck,
stops,
and
he
then
hears
eventually
them,
lobs his head off.
and he turns around.
So then Johnny
They make a
leaves.
noise. They're talking
after
so
the other
loud
two,
you
and
can
then
hear them, and she's saying he
stupidly,
sees us.
the-
He goes,
her
"I'll
boyfriend,
distract you."
Chris's boyfriend decides
This is how dumb this guy is.
antagonize
Chris, I give her credit. She's smart.
by saying, "We're out here, come
Get to
us."
that. He stands there and says,
and he's
"Hey,
walking, and he
fucker."
stops,
He
he
turns around
hears
with the
them,
hatchet and just
and he turns
hits him
around.
in the head, kill him.
They make a noise. They're talking
Chris is
so loud
standing
you
there
can hear
watching
them.
this.
She's
She's got the
saying,
gas
"He
can
sees us."
and the
He
bear
goes, "I'll
trap. She
distract
puts both as he's
This is
hacking
how
the
dumb
crap
this
out of this
guy
guy's
is.
body.
Chris, I give her
it
credit.
sounds
She's
gory
smart.
as shit. She
get
puts
to that.
both items down,
He
the
stands there and
bear
says,
trap in her right hand
"Fuck
and the
her."
gas can.
He
Then
turns
she
around
takes
with
the
the
locket
hatchet and
off,
just
puts it
and
and
kill him.
puts it over the gas can,
Chris
leaves it
is
there and starts
standing there
back
watching this.
slowly.
Got the gas can.
Okay, this is
and
at
the bear
nighttime.
trap.
We've gone
She
for
puts
daytime.
both
This one
as
time
he's
time.
and hacking the
We're
crap
at
out of
night
this guy's
from the
body.
ranger
And
being
it sounds
killed
gory as shit.
to this final,
She puts
it's at
both
night.
items
It's
down,
dark.
the
If you've
bear
been in
trap
the
in
woods,
her
you know
right
how
hand and the
dark it
gas
can
can, then
get
she
when
takes
there's
the
a lot of
locket
trees.
off,
And there's a
puts it
lot of
and
sounds.
puts
This is
it
what
over the
makes
gas can, leaves it
for
there
people that
and
are not
starts
used to the woods, going in the
slowly.
woods can be
Okay, this is at nighttime.
intimidating,
We've gone for
terrifying.
daytime,
You hear
this
all
one
those
time at
creatures at
time.
nighttime coming out.
We're at
And
night.
you'll hear
from the
them in
ranger
this
being
movie.
killed.
She starts
This
moving
final,
back,
you
and
know,
then she starts
it's at
running,
night.
and
It's
she's
dark.
still
If you've
hearing
been in
her
the woods, you know how dark
her
it
dead
can
boyfriend
get
being
when there's a lot of
basically
trees.
the guy.
And there's
Johnny's
a-
just
this
with that
is what
hatchet.
makes
You hear the same.
For people that are
And
not
I know
used
the
to the woods,
director
going in the
of,
woods
I
can
bring his name up
intimidating,
because he
terrifying.
mentioned
There are
that
all those
it looked
creatures
like
at
she was
nighttime coming
circling
out.
back. I don't
And
think
you'll
that's
hear
what
them
happened. I
in
think
this
she was
movie.
going, but
She
because
starts
she
moving
saw what
back,
was
and
happening
then
and that
she
sound
starts
was in her
running,
head, and she's
still
hearing all these other
hearing
things,
her
she
her dead
freaks
boyfriend
out.
being-
And she doesn't know where she
Basically,
is.
the
I think
guy, Johnny's
she's
just
obviously
with that
gotten
hatchet.
lost.
You hear the same.
And
I know the director of, I bring his name up because he mentioned
eventually
that it
we,
looked like she was
they're
circling
in
back. I don't think
daylight
that's
and
what
she's
happened.
on the
I think
ground.
She was going, but
And they
because
don't show
that
how
saw
she
what
got
was
this
happening and that sound was
stick in her leg, in
and
her
she's hearing
ankle.
all these other things.
And she pulls it out.
Freaks out.
And gets up
She
and
doesn't know
starts
where
walking.
she
I don't
is.
know
I
how
think
she's walking on
she's
an
obviously
ankle
gotten
that had a
lost.
hole put through it.
And
But she does. She doesn't put a
trinket, she just walks. And we don't see her put a trinket, just pull it out, and then she gets up and she makes it to this one road,
and they don't
where
show
trees
her
are,
how
and
she
then
got
she,
this stick
next
in
scene,
her ankle,
and time, this is where
and she
things
pulls it out
do, you
and
know.
gets up and starts walking. I don't know how
She's on this road, this wide road.
Had a hole put through it, but
And she's standing there,
she
and
doesn't put a trinket. She just walks.
And then she
uh,
sees this
we don't see her
pickup
put a
truck.
trinket.
She
just pull it
waits
out,
for it and
then she
runs
gets
toward
up and she
her.
makes
And
it to
then
this
we
one
get this
road.
muffled
trees
sound.
are, and then she
Like it, you know,
Next
when you
scene,
hear some,
and
what sounds like if you have your ears
do
clogged and you can't hear anything, that's
She's
what
on
we
this
get.
road,
This
this
muffled
wide road.
sound where you can't really hear what's going on,
And
you
she's
see
standing
what's going
there
on,
and-
can't hear it.
Then she sees this
Yeah,
pickup.
this is gonna get to
waits for it and
we're gonna
runs
get to
for
the
it.
spoiler
And then
of this
we get
movie,
this
the ending, which I
muffled
love this movie.
Like
Like I said, I love this
you
movie.
hear
I love the
what
ending
sounds
of
like if
this.
you
I
have
thought it
your
was
ears
perfectly done.
clogged and you can't hear anything. That's what we get. This muffled
And-
sound where you can't really hear what's going on. You see what's going on.
So
you can't hear
what we
it.
have is that
Yeah,
this
this
she
is
gets
gonna get
picked
to the,
up.
We're gonna get to the spoiler of this
Yeah.
movie, the ending, which
She gets picked
love
up,
this
put in the
movie.
back of this,
Like I said,
in this
I love this
pickup
movie. I love
with-
the ending of this. I thought it was perfectly
And I'll get to,
done.
well, let's look at the cast, because here's where you get
And-
more of the cast. Here's the cast. Okay,
So
we got Johnny,
have
we have Chris is the final girl.
That she gets.
Okay, then we have Lauren Taylor. Lauren Taylor is this woman who
She
picks
gets
up
picked up, put in the
Chris.
back of
And
in this pickup.
as they're driving, she goes, I know you've survived these
Okay,
woods. I
too.
know you've been through.
Let's look
She goes,
at
how
the
do you know that anybody
cast,
can
'cause
survive?
here's
Because
where
she
you get more
brings
of
up
the cast.
what happened to her brother.
Here's the cast. Okay,
30
we got
years
Johnny. Okay, we have Chris is
And this plays in the
final
whole thing
girl.
about the violent, in a
then we
violent
have
nature.
Lauren Taylor.
Because she
Lauren Taylor is this
talks
woman
about
who picks
how
up
her
Chris and
brother was a
as the
forest
girl goes,
ranger
I
and
know
how
you've
he
been
was sent
through
out
these
because there
woods.
was
I know
a
you've been
bear
through- She goes, how do
that
you
decided
know that
just to
anybody can
kill a
survive?
bunch of
She
animals.
brings
And no one knows
happened
why
to
it
her
did
brother
this. She even says,
30
I
years.
don't know what.
And this plays
Why,
in the whole
you know,
thing about the violence.
And so he's going out
in a
looking.
violent
And Lauren
nature.
Taylor is
she
this woman right here.
talks about how
Yeah,
her
she's Lauren
brother was
Marie
a
Taylor. She's
forest
great.
ranger and how he was
She's just
sent
known
out
as the
because
woman.
there was a
She's
bear
telling the story about
that
her
decided
brother,
just to
and
kill a
it goes
bunch
on
of
for a while.
And no one knows
She
why
has
he
her
did
radio
this.
on, so
She
you
even
hear in
says,
the
I don't
hear in the
know
radio as she's telling about her brother being
why,
sent out to investigate about this
So he's
bear.
going
And
out
he
looking. And
brings
Lauren
up the fact
Taylor
that he loses
is
the bear and then he's
this
in the
woman
water
right
and he can't find the bear.
Yeah,
And suddenly she
Lauren
mentions
Marie
he
Taylor,
feels a
she's
pain in the back of his head and the bear is
She's
gnawed
just
on
known
the
as
back
the
of his
woman.
head.
She's telling the story about
And
her
he only
brother,
survived
and
because
it goes on for a
the
while.
bear pushed him in the water.
She
He
has her
drowned.
radio
So they
on, so you're hearing the-
resuscitated
hearing
the
the
bear.
radio and she's
Left
telling
him because
about her
he
brother
was
being
dead.
sent out to
Technically, he
investigate
died.
about this bear, and
But
she
she says they
brings
sewed
up
up his
the
head and
fact
he's
that
doing
the
fine.
bear
That's
is
how
in the
she
water
knows
and he
he'll
can't find the bear, and
survive.
She mentions he feels a pain
She'll
in
be
the back
fine.
of the head and the bear
And then
is
she
gnawed on the
realizes
back of
she's
his
starting to
head.
pass out. And
So
she
she only
stops
survived
and goes,
because
no,
he
keep
and
going.
the bear
She has to
pushed
stop
him
the
off
bleeding because the
ground.
blood,
So they
she's
resurrected
losing a lot of blood through
the bear
the injury in
and
her
left him
ankle.
because he was
And
dead.
she's telling her, I have to
Technically,
put a
he
tourniquet on
But
to
she
stop
says
the bleeding
they
so we
sewed
can
up
get you to
his
the
head,
hospital
he's
or else
doing
you're going
fine.
to
That's all
die.
she knows.
And
He'll
she's freaking out and she's like
survive.
this looking around going, oh my God, is he going
She'll
to come
be
back
fine.
and kill me?
And then she realizes she's starting
And
to pass out.
this
So she
emphasizes
stops
that
and
whole
goes,
idea
"No,
of
keep going." She has to stop
the
bleeding
trauma
because the
that
blood-
she's
went
losing
through
a lot of
watching
blood
through the injury
this
in her ankle.
Johnny kill her
And she's telling
boyfriend.
her, I have to put a tourniquet on to stop
And
the
she's
bleeding
not
so
sure
we
if
can get you
he's
to the
coming
hospital
back.
or else you're going to die. And she's
So then,
freaking out, and she's like this, looking
this
around,
what I love. This
"Is he gonna come
whole
back
that
and kill
whole
me?"
monologue and everything went on.
And
This final scene of this
emphasized
movie
that
go
whole
back
idea of
the trauma.
she's
We
went
see
through watching
go back in the woods.
this
It's
Johnny
daytime, of
kill
course.
her boyfriend.
And then we pull over and we see first
And
we see
she's
the
not
bear
sure if
trap
he's
sweet
coming
gas can.
So then
The lock gets missing, which
this is what
means
I love. This whole
Johnny
that whole
wanted
monologue
to
and
lock
everything
it
went on.
back. Chris was right.
Final
If they
scene of this
just
movie,
gave
go
it
back.
back, he would leave them alone.
Where
If
Chris-
only they
we see-
listened to her, they'd
go
still
back in
be,
the
her
woods.
boyfriend
It's
would still
daytime,
be
of course.
alive.
And then we
They had not
pull over, we
listened
see
to the
first,
ranger.
We see the bear trap.
See,
Gas.
And I
gas.
love that about this movie is that
The
it
lock gets
has
Which
it
means
put it's such a
Johnny
wonderful
wanted to
film.
lock it back.
And-
Chris was right.
Yeah,
If they
and
just
it
gave it
leaves
back,
the
he
ending
would leave
isn't
them
that
alone. If only they
ambiguous.
listened to
It's
her,
literally Johnny got what he was
boyfriend would
looking.
still be
His
alive.
one thing he wanted to get back. His
They had
mother's
not
lost
listened
it,
to the
and
ranger.
he goes back home.
See,
Goes back to his
I
grave.
love that about
That's
this
why he
movie,
got out.
is that
So the
it
whole
has-
movie plays on
it
is,
puts, it's
and
such
I
a
like that there was
wonderful
no
film.
score. I get
Yeah.
that some people might
Yeah.
think,
And it
oh,
leaves the
you know,
ending isn't that
why was there no
ambiguous.
score?
It's
I think the
literally
nature
Johnny
part
got
plays
what he was
better than the
looking
movie.
for. His
The
one
fact that
thing
it
he wanted
is
to
such a
get
low
back
budget
is lock
film,
it.
he didn't know
back
what
home.
style he was
Goes
going
back
to
to his
use
grave.
for the movie. movie, like it
That's why he
says
got
here.
out. So the hook
Commentators
he
have
plays
drawn
on
comparisons
is,
between
and I like
violent
that there was
and
no
a violent
score.
nature
I
and
get
slow
that
cinema.
some people might think,
Nash
oh,
drew inspiration for the film style
was
from
there
the
no
Gus
score?
Van
I
Sant
think the nature part plays better than the movie.
directed
How
films
could it
Gary.
is such a
That's
low
2000,
budget film.
Elephant
He didn't know what
2003,
style he was going to use
Last Days
for the movie,
2005,
like it
which
says
Nash
here.
characterized as slower, more methodical, more deliberate, and follow characters through a scene, which is true. And Nash also cited the work of Terrence Malick as an influence.
Elephant 2003.
Yeah, has any violent nature emphasizes static, long,
slower,
take shots and features no musical. Yeah, which is what I said I love about this movie is that it doesn't have a musical score.
which is true.
Now, here's the trend, and it is going to be on Shudder later on.
Citing the work
It's
of
still in
Terrence
theaters
Malick
right now, just
as an influence.
yeah, has any violent nature emphasizes
We'll get to
static.
that.
Yeah, here it is. I love this
shots
trailer.
and features
No musical. Yeah, which is what I said.
This is actually how the movie, you'll see this movie if you see it on Shudder wherever.
This is how it was filmed.
And it is
Bars on the side.
later on.
Yeah.
It's
See,
still in
that's what I'm talking about. I love the fact that we get this, where he's walking, following him, see, time has passed. Yeah, here it is. I love this. That's what the whole point of this is, that it has these slow,
This is
static.
actually how the movie, you'll
Yeah,
see
and
it.
that's why I love that.
This is
No
how-
score, just bars on the side. Yeah. See, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. I love the fact that we get this, where he's walking, following him, see, and then we see the aftermath of the first kill, which then you see, that's what the whole point of this is. It has this slow, static. Yeah, and it's that's why I love that. No score. Yeah.
Animals don't get too hung up on
Then we
reason.
see the aftermath
They
of the
just
first
keep
kill,
killing.
which then you see, and there it is. Yep. That's what she says, yeah, in the car. The woman says. And it is true. Animals don't get caught up in justification for why they kill. It's just their nature. So, yeah. I really, when you get a chance to see this, you can't see it in Portland anymore, it's gone, but it'll be on Shudder. There it is. It's a Shudder
That's what
original
she says,
film.
yeah, in the car.
And
The
you know,
woman
they do
says-
put that in the beginning
It's true.
before the
Animals
movie
don't
begins
get
to let you
caught
know
up
this is a
in
Shudder original.
justification
I love the fact
for
that
why
Shudder
they
does
kill.
put certain movies
It's
in
just
theaters.
their nature.
This normally would
So,
probably go straight to streaming, but
really,
the fact they took a chance to put it in theaters.
This,
I give them credit. It's a low budget film.
Beyond
It's
Shudder,
brilliant.
It's a
It's
Shudder original
a
film.
fun movie that
And
they really
do put
does
that
bring
in
up
the beginning
Jason
before the movie
Yeah.
begins. Let you know.
Friday
this
the
is
13th,
Shudder
big
original.
inspiration.
I
For
love
this.
that
And you
they
see
Shudder
it
does
throughout the
put
movie
certain
with the
movies in
killer.
theaters. This
Yes, the hood at
normally
first, like I
probably
said,
goes straight
bit
to
goofy,
streaming,
but as you
but
see it,
I think
you're like,
took a
okay,
chance
it
to
makes
put
sense
in
that he's
theaters.
covering his
I give
face.
them credit.
Um,
It's a low budget film.
But yes,
Brilliant.
and
It's
the ending
fun
really
movie
does
that,
work. It's
really
the first
does
kill,
bring up
that
a
lady
Jason.
right there, that lady
Yeah.
screaming.
Friday the 13th.
Her kill,
big
like I said, was so
inspiration. You see it throughout
perfect.
the
It was
movie.
like,
Killer.
yes, the hood.
And
And I
at first,
explained
like
that
I
kill.
said, bit goofy, but as
Like I
you
said,
see
this
it,
movie,
it's okay.
the
It
whole
makes sense that
truck
he's
scene,
covering
it
his face.
takes, it's this,
But yeah,
everything
and
feels, when you're
the
in the
ending
woods,
really
people don't
does
realize,
work.
it can
It's
feel
the first kill,
claustrophobic.
that lady
And
right
that's,
there, that
even
lady
though
screaming.
the woods is
Her kill,
expansive,
like I
that
said, was
night
so
scene, where
perfect.
Chris
It
is
was
running,
like-
yes, it feels claustrophobic.
And I explained that
I feel like the
The-
woods are
like I said,
closing in
movie,
because you hear
the
all the
whole
sounds
truck
at night.
scene,
A lot of
just-
people wouldn't
it's this-
understand how to deal with the woods at night
Everything
because it is
feels,
so dark.
when you're
and
in the woods, people don't realize.
that's why
you
I think she got
feel
lost.
claustrophobic.
And
That's-
so,
even though
yeah,
the woods
and this
expansive,
movie
that
really
night
does.
scene where Chris is running.
It's, I mean, yeah,
feels
it's
claustrophobic.
probably one of the best
Feel
slasher films.
the woods
to
are
come out in a
closing
long
in 'cause you
time.
hear all the sounds.
And people have
a lot of people wouldn't
really said
understand how to deal
nothing
with the
but
woods at
really
night,
positive
'cause it is so
things
dark.
about this movie.
That's why I
And
think
so,
she
yeah,
got lost.
I highly recommend it.
And so-
when it comes on Shudder
Yeah.
or AMC
And this
Plus, if
movie
you, either
really
way,
does.
watch it. It's so
I mean,
good.
yeah, it's probably one of the best
Yeah,
slasher
I
films
give this
come out
high.
in a long time.
Like,
And people have really said.
I would probably
nothing
give it,
but really
if I were doing
positive
10 out of 10, this would
about
be a
this
12
movie.
for me.
And so
I don't mind the,
I highly
the
recommend
Rangers
it.
death
When
scene
it comes on
take
Shudder
it,
or AMC
that
Plus,
happened, I know.
way.
Other people might go,
Watch
oh,
it.
why is this
It's
so good? No score, why is this kill,
I give
we so
this
emphasize in this
high.
kill?
Like,
It doesn't always work to have that, but for
I
this,
would probably give it.
I got why they
I
did
were
that.
doing
And I
10,
understand what
this
the
would
director
be
was
a
going
12
for.
for me.
That's why I wasn't, I don't
wouldn't
mind
mind
going,
the
oh, this
Rangers
sucks.
death
I
scene
enjoyed the
take
movie.
it, that happened.
And
I know.
I couldn't
Other
highly
people might go,
recommend
"Oh,
this
why
any
is it
more. Please, when you get a chance, if
Score
you love
this
slasher
kill,
films,
we
this
so
movie
emphasize in
is
this kill.
so.
It doesn't always
This
work
is Gilgamesh.
to have that,
I'll
but
talk
for
to you
this,
later. Bye.